Have you ever walked through a garden aisle at Home Depot or Lowe's, seen just gorgeous, lush tropical plants, and thought, this is the one. This'll finally make my living room look like a magazine. You spend $40 or $50, bring it home, and 2 weeks later, it's a shriveled brown mess. I've been there. I've thrown away more money on showcase plants than I'd like to admit. The truth is, most of those plants are divas. They want the humidity of a rainforest and the precision of a laboratory. But today, we're changing the narrative. I'm going to show you 5 plants that actually thrive on neglect. I'm talking about plants that want you to forget they exist for a while. We're going to cover the snake plant, the indestructible ZZ, and a few others that will survive even if you go on a 2-week vacation. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which ones to pick, and more importantly, the one invisible mistake that kills these tough guys when you try too hard. Let's start with the undisputed heavyweight champion of the leave me alone world, the snake plant. You've seen them in offices and malls because they are almost impossible to kill, but most people still find a way to do it. The mistake is simple. We treat them like our pets. We think water equals love. In the case of a snake plant, water is actually a weapon. I remember when I first started, I had this beautiful 5-foot-tall snake plant in my hallway. I watered it every Sunday like clockwork because I thought I was being a good plant parent. One day, the whole thing just leaned over and collapsed. The base was complete mush. That's the trap. These plants are succulents. They store water in those thick, sword-like leaves. The truth is, they can easily go 3 to 4 weeks without a single drop, especially in the winter months when the air is cooler and the light is lower. If you want to do it right, follow this simple rule, the pot weight test. Before you grab that watering can, pick up the pot. If it feels heavy, put the water away. If it feels light, like it's filled with feathers, then and only then can you give it a drink. And when you do, make sure that water is draining out the bottom. If your pot doesn't have a hole, you're basically making a swamp that rots the roots. I always recommend using a well-draining cactus mix for these guys. It's an extra $5 at the store, but it saves you $30 in lost plants. If you notice the leaves are starting to wrinkle slightly, that's the plant telling you it's actually thirsty. But if they turn yellow and soft, that's the emergency signal for too much water. Stop immediately and let it dry out for a month. Now, if you have a corner in your house that is so dark you think nothing could ever grow there, you need a ZZ plant. This next one tricks a lot of people because of one small detail, and that's exactly what makes it so tough. The ZZ plant, or Zamioculca zamiofolia, is a structural masterpiece. It looks like it's made of wax. The symptom I see most often in failed ZZ plants is yellowing leaves that eventually fall off. People see a yellow leaf and think, oh no, it's dying, let me give it more water. That is the worst thing you can do. The cause is almost always root rot because of the ZZ's secret weapon, rhizomes. If you were to dig up a ZZ plant, you'd see these potato-like bulbs under the soil. Those are storage tanks. They hold water for months. To correct your care routine, you need to shift your mindset. Think of the ZZ plant as a camel. It's designed for drought. My maintenance plan for a ZZ is simple. Check it once a month. Stick your finger 2 inches into the soil. If you feel even a hint of moisture, walk away. I have a ZZ plant in low light. They don't actually grow much there. If you want it to thrive, put it near a north or east-facing window. It'll handle the low light of a hallway, but it won't be happy. Just remember, it would rather be thirsty in the dark than drowning in the light. This next plant is perfect if you have a busy life and want results without becoming a slave to your garden. We're talking about the pothos, often called devil's ivy because it's so hard to kill. This is what I call the gateway plant. It's the one that makes people believe they actually have a green thumb. But there's a massive difference between a beginner's pothos and a correct pothos. A beginner usually buys a hanging basket, lets it grow long, thin, leggy vines that look like string, and eventually the top of the pot goes bald. It looks sad. The correct way is all about the prune and propagate method. It once had a pothos that was dragging across my kitchen floor. It looked messy. I learned that if you snip those vines just below a node, that little brown bump on the stem, you can stick that cutting right back into the soil or into a glass of water. This forces the main plant to branch out and become bushy and full. It's like a haircut that makes your hair thicker. For watering, the pothos is the best communicator. When it's thirsty, the leaves will visibly wilt and go limp. It's literally telling you, hey, I need a drink. This is the best time to water it. Within 2 hours of a good soak, those leaves will pop right back up. It's incredibly rewarding to see that immediate feedback. Just avoid the wet feet syndrome. Never let the pot sit in a saucer full of water for more than an hour. So far, you've learned 3 survivors that can handle a lot of mistakes, but I want to take a second to ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you were just bad with plants? Maybe you've even joked about killing a cactus. If that's you, leave a comment below and tell me which plant broke your heart. I promise you, it probably wasn't your fault. Most of the time, the tags at the store give terrible advice, like water weekly, which is a recipe for disaster. We're here to fix that together. If you're finding this helpful, hitting that like button really helps me reach more people who are tired of losing their green friends. Moving on a plant that actually serves a dual purpose, aloe vera. Most American homes have one this in the kitchen, and for good reason. It's the best first aid kit for a minor burn. But aloe is a desert plant, and we often treat it like a swamp lily. The biggest mistake I see is the pot mistake. People keep aloe in those tiny decorative ceramic pots they come in, often without a drainage hole. Aloe needs to dry out completely. If the soil stays damp, the base of the leaves will turn brown and mushy, and the whole plant will just slide out of the soil because the roots have disintegrated. Here is your 3-step correction for a struggling aloe. First, check the pot. If it doesn't have a hole, move it to a terracotta pot. Terracotta is porous, it breathes, and helps the soil dry out faster. Second, light. Aloe loves the sun. A kitchen windowsill that gets at least 4 to 6 hours of bright light is perfect. Third, the squeeze test. Gently squeeze one of the lower, thicker leaves. If it feels firm like a cucumber, it's full of water. Leave it alone. If it feels a bit soft or hollow, it's time to water. I live in an area where the summers get very humid, and I found that even in high heat, my aloe only needs water once every 3 weeks. In the winter, maybe once every 5 or 6 weeks. It's a survivalist, so treat it like one. Now, let's go on one that thrives on neglect. Seriously, the less you do, the better. The spider plant. This is a classic 70s plant that has made a huge comeback because it's a powerhouse for cleaning indoor air. But it has one blind spot that makes people think they are failing. Brown tips. You'll see those little brown, crunchy ends on the leaves and assume the plant is dying or needs more water. Usually, that's not it at all. Spider plants are sensitive to the chemicals in our tap water, things like fluoride and chlorine. It's not neglect that's causing the brown tips, it's actually the quality of the care. The ideal spot for a spider plant is somewhere with bright, indirect light, like a bathroom with a window or a spot a few feet away from a window. If you put it in direct, scorching afternoon sun, those thin leaves will bleach and burn. My today recommendation for your spider plant is to stop using water straight from the tap if you can. Fill your watering can and let it sit out on the counter overnight. This allows some of the chlorine to evaporate. Or, even better, use rainwater. These plants are incredibly fun because they produce puppies, little baby plants that hang down on long stems. Once those babies grow little nubs at the bottom, those are air roots. You can snip them off and start a whole new plant. It's the ultimate buy one, get 10 free deal. To wrap this up, I want to remind you the agua is something important. Gardening shouldn't be a source of stress. We live in a world that is fast-paced and demanding, and your home should be your sanctuary. By choosing plants like the snake plant, ZZ, pothos, aloe, and spider plant, you are setting yourself up for a win. You're choosing peace over a high-maintenance chore. These 5 plants are your budget-friendly entry into a greener life because they don't require expensive fertilizers or fancy grow lights. They just need you to observe them every now and then. If you're ready to take the next step and really understand the why behind your plant care, like how to mix the perfect soil or how to read the light in your specific house, I've put together the Garden Without Secrets guide. It's designed to stop the cycle of wasting money and starting over every season. You can find more info on that in the description. My journey started with a dead succulent and a lot of frustration. But once I stopped listening to generic store tags, started watching how the plants reacted to iHome, everything changed. You can do this too. Remember, if your plant looks a little sad tomorrow, don't rush to drown it with water. Take a breath, check the soil, and remember that sometimes the best thing you can do for your garden is absolutely nothing at all. Growing a green home is a journey, not a race. You're learning a new language, the language of leaves and light, and you're doing great. Before you go, I have my final checklist for you. Tomorrow morning, I want you to do 3 things. First, go to every plant in your house and stick your finger in the soil. If it's wet, don't touch it. Second, check if any of your pots are sitting in a pool of water in their saucers. If they are, dump it out immediately. Third, move one plant that's been sitting in a dark corner just a few feet closer to a window. These 3 tiny changes will save more plants than any expensive chemical ever could. What's the one plant you've managed to keep alive the longest? I'd love to hear your success stories in the comments. It helps other beginners see that it really is possible to have a thriving indoor jungle without being an expert. Grow with patience, grow with knowledge, grow with love. See you next time!